In just a few decades, a new faith reshaped the political, cultural, and religious landscape of the world. The story of Islam's rise begins in the early 7th century on the Arabian Peninsula, a region of harsh deserts and tribal societies frequently engaged in conflict. At the center was Mecca, a bustling trade hub and spiritual center dominated by polytheistic beliefs. Into this world stepped Muhammad, a merchant born around 570 CE, whose revelations would spark a profound transformation. Muhammad began preaching a strict monotheism centered on one God, Allah, challenging the existing tribal and religious order. This new message spread rapidly, initially met with resistance from Mecca's ruling elites who saw it as a threat to their power and economic interests linked to the pilgrimage trade. Muhammad's migration to Medina in 622 CE, known as the Hijra, marks the beginning of the Islamic calendar and a pivotal moment that shifted Islam from a spiritual movement to a political force. In Medina, Muhammad forged a community united under Islamic law, mixing spiritual guidance with governance, creating a model for future Islamic societies. Over the next decade, Muhammad and his followers engaged in both diplomatic and military campaigns, steadily consolidating control over the Arabian Peninsula. By the time of Muhammad's death in 632 CE, Islam had unified a fragmented region under a common belief system, legal framework, and social code. But the expansion didn't stop there. The subsequent Rashidun caliphs launched campaigns beyond Arabia's borders, reaching into the Byzantine and Sasanian empires weakened by decades of conflict. Within only a few decades, Islamic armies had conquered vast territories, establishing a new civilization stretching from Spain in the west to the Indus Valley in the east. This rapid expansion was fueled not just by military conquest, but also by trade networks, scholarship, and religious appeal. Islamic civilization became a melting pot of cultures, knowledge, and traditions, preserving and advancing scientific, mathematical, and philosophical knowledge inherited from earlier empires and civilizations. The rise of Islam was more than a religious movement. It created a new civilization whose influence is still evident today in languages, arts, politics, and global religion. From a desert-born revelation to a dominant world faith, Islam's emergence reshaped the patterns of trade, governance, and cultural exchange, setting the stage for centuries of history that continue to unfold.